All right.
Good deal. Let me hit record and go live.
There we go.
We are going.
All right.
So let me kick it off. Hey, everybody. My name's Jim Paar. Welcome to Pitch Investors Live. Yes, we finally got this going, although he just dropped off. But I started as an entrepreneur when I was about 6 months old. And let me explain. I was a child actor, so did a lot of casting calls, a lot of interviews, kind of like what Rob's doing today. So I picked up some different ventures through Pitch Investors Live, like with Joni at Boobalicious. And today, through this amazing platform, Pitch Investors is available for download. Just go on the App Store, Google Play, and download it. We're being pitched by a mobile device from Rob right now. We had a few difficulties, but that's all in the Wi-Fi that we deal with in this world. So what are you waiting for? Download this app. I'm excited to talk to Rob today from Trusted Energy. And so, Rob, kick it off. Tell us exactly what you got going. It sounds pretty exciting. I've done some research on you, and it sounds like you've been in it for a number of years.
Correct. Jim, great being able to meet you. Great being able to be on this platform. Love to be able to meet face-to-face, relatively, virtually, with you. So it's great to be able to be on Pitch Investors Live. You are correct. 27 years of renewables. Followed my dad into the industry. I didn't start at 6 months. I started in 8th grade. With my first venture. Love entrepreneurship, love profit, love being able to make money and be able to see what you can do with that. So not my first rodeo. I have another very successful company that does work in the service industry. And what we're working on is the ownership and operation of renewable energy assets so that we might get the ongoing predictable revenue stream from the sale of electricity.
So tell us a little bit. I did a little research. You've been around for Trusted Energy? It's been around for 17 years, right?
Correct. Yeah, we originally incorporated in 2002.
Okay. So explain the business model, more of the how somebody secures the energy through you. So I went on your website, looked at it, but explain it a little bit in detail. So if I just want to cut off from, I'm in Nashville, if I just want to cut off from paying Nashville NES, I know electric isn't available in here, but let's just take the gas portion of it because I saw that was available. If I want to purchase that through Trusted Energy, and what is that going to do for me, and how do I go about that process?
Correct. What we would do was install renewable energy assets on your side of the electric meter. On your side of the electric meter, you are federally protected under FERC, Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, to be able to do what you want on your side of the electric meter. We would install those assets on your side of the meter, and instead of buying the equipment, which can be several $100,000 worth of equipment, you would just pay your electric bill as you normally would. But instead of paying the utility company, you would be paying Trusted Energy.
Okay. So does Trusted Energy get some of the revenue off of putting that electricity back into the system?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Right. And it's ongoing. It's going to be a 10, 20, or 30-year contract, depending on the opportunity.
Okay. And as a homeowner, I used to do a tour called the National Clean Air Green Tour. So we did, and we were in the early stages, 2006, when there wasn't really anything green, and people were like, that's never going to fly. And so, as you know, it does fly, and the need of it to reduce the greenhouse gases is important. So, on a layman's sense of this, it would be like adding a ADT security system. They put the equipment in, you put the equipment in, and you just basically do a lease through Trusted Energy, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you are, I understand it. So on the renewable aspect of it, is if you put the equipment in, what does that equipment consist of typically from a standpoint of a homeowner, or let's take a business, because a business would be a smarter deal with investment wise.
Correct. Yeah, we're not targeting the residential market. Same amount of work to do a house as it is a commercial opportunity. So our primary customer base is going to be municipals, universities, schools, and hospitals.
Okay.
Because they're very credit worthy. They're not going to go away. A school is funded by a tax base. It's not going to go away. Schools and hospitals. So it's MUSH is the acronym, is who we target. We'll go in, install the equipment on the property, solar panels.
Okay.
They have a 25 production year warranty, a 25-year production warranty. The inverters have a 15-year warranty. The racking is aluminum or metal. It doesn't go anywhere. So the longevity of the equipment is going to be greater than 30 years. But for all our numbers, we scale it back in order to account for variability.
Okay. And revenue wise, what is your, and you don't have to give me dollar figures or anything, but what is your revenue like from, as each year, for, let's just say the last 5 years, what is the growth of that for the last 5 years?
We're multiple seven figures.
Okay.
We're not a startup. We're just doing an iteration. Previously, we're a consulting company. And as a consulting company, we would provide these services for our clients, which were utilities typically. I was a former GE employee. GE had bought our company.
Okay.
And I moved with my dad to a company called Clipper to develop wind farms. And so we've been providing what we're doing as a service to our customers, to our clients. And now, but it's cyclical. It's impacted by legislation. And so as we were looking at pivoting into the future, what's going to create stability, and the owners and the operators of the assets are the ones that have the longevity. So of our client base, we were the ones that have been around for the longest duration are the ones that own the assets and operate the assets, get the ongoing revenue stream off of selling the electricity.
Okay. How many customers, commercially do you have right now then?
We got about 15 that are going through the PPA process. We have a very large college that will be an $8 million project for a solar array. And then after we get done with for the solar array, we want to sign a $32 million project for a wind project that will be about 18 miles away from the college. We have several water treatment plants that we're working with. We have a technical college that wants about a $3.5 million wind turbine. So the pipeline is pretty full. Now, how do we take a $100,000 investment? And that's what we're looking for. And we already have $400,000 in to the company.
Right.
How do we take a small investment of $100,000 remaining, leverage that forward? It is equivalent to if I went out and signed a lease to Walmart for land for the next 10 years, we know that's solid and in place. And then we can leverage it with the bank and say, hey, we got Walmart. We're good to go. Give me the money for the land. Give me the money for the building, and you can build it. And that's what we do. We take a very small amount of money and then leverage it. We get the contracts, which is called a power purchase agreement. We sign the power purchase agreement with the entity, and this one is a college that we're working with, and several others. My alma mater will be following on after this one, and so take that little bit of money, do your due diligence, do your geotechnical, do your procurement contract. So you sign up all your equipment, you got everything in place, you got your power purchase agreement, and as soon as that's signed, you get your project financing. So it takes a very little bit of money to grow the opportunity to something larger.
In that $500,000, which how long is it taking you to generate the 400,000 that you're at right now?
The 400 we started in September of last year.
Okay, so not that bad.
No.
So you have 100,000 left. What is the return to the investor on that?
We're looking at 5x return in 5 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's is that a equity return, or is it a straight percentage?
Several of the investors we have right now are looking for the annuity-based revenue stream. So
okay.
They're looking for an ongoing revenue stream from their investment, and that's the same thing that our team is looking for.
Right.
We want that revenue stream because the predictability of it. So some may jump out at 5x, some may jump out at 2x in 2 years. So it all depends on the individual investor, but we're targeting a 5x return in 5 years.
Okay, that's good. And it's, just explaining that 100, or let's just take the full half a million. So that's really going to generate new customers is what it is, correct?
Right.
Okay.
And because development takes quite a bit of cash flow, we have 2 other revenue models because I have been developing projects for a long time, for the last 27 years. And so I know what it takes for cash flow. And so we have ongoing revenue streams from wind turbine maintenances. Wind turbines have the exact same thing as a car, except the costs are a lot more expensive. It might take $2,300 to get a new transmission for a car. For a wind turbine, it costs $250,000 for a transmission repair. And,
wow. Okay.
And so now what our specialty is going to be to take that transmission. A crane costs $100,000 to bring that crane out minimum, and to crack open the transmission of the wind turbine, slide in a new transmission and take the old one out. $250,000. Our guys can go out and be able to do all these repairs up tower without the crane, saving the customer 40, 50, 60%.
Okay. So those wind turbines are on site. Like if it's a college, it'd be on site, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've driven through Illinois and I've seen some of those and maybe those are some years, but I've seen them at the schools and in different institutions like that. What is the advantage of a business, say a college institution? I can imagine it's the savings, but what kind of savings percentage wise are they saving versus being with the utilities?
We target a 10 to 20% savings over mine with the utility, and we also have a very predictable increase in escalator in the cost of electricity. So we have a utility here in Iowa that's going to do a 17% increase in their utilities, and we're on average 2.5%. So there's a substantial savings for the customer over the long duration. Okay,
and at the end of that, say it's a 20-year contract, what happens on those lease contracts? Is the equipment paid for? Is it replaced? Or what is the longevity of that equipment? I'm guessing the maintenance is included in that time frame of the lease.
Right. Okay. Exactly. With the lease, it is as simple as can be for the customer. My wife loves to lease her vehicle. The reason why she loves to lease her vehicle, no problems. If she has an issue, she takes it to the dealership, gives them the keys, and they take care of her. Same thing with the lease on the solar panels is that it's very for them. Mm-hmm. When working with the school, they're really good at schools. We're working with a protein manufacturer, a livestock company. We pitched them the purchase of the equipment. They would get all the tax incentives off the deal. Then get the savings of electricity. But then after the conversation back and forth, they said, you know what, it might be just a lot easier just for us to buy the electricity from you at the savings, be able to make to our investors the statement, hey, we're sustainable, we're predictable, we know what we're doing. We're not putting anything to landfill, we're not putting anything into the air, we're not putting anything into the water. And so we're able to do that for them without them having to make the capital expenditure of $200,000, $400,000, $600,000 per turkey barn.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And from a marketing standpoint, that makes a lot of sense because from when we I worked with a lot of companies, Michelin, Green X tires, and, their big ploy on any company, Kimberly-Clark or whatever, was to be as green as possible. So,
Right.
From a marketing standpoint, that adds value to a corporation for sure.
Right.
It sounds very, very interesting. And it makes a lot of sense. I imagine if there's a power outage or, some interruption in the renewable energy, the regular energy backs that up, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's still grid power as the backup. We also have batteries as a solution as well, depending on the opportunity. Where we can come in with a battery solution is where they have a high demand cost. And so these are typically manufacturing plants or something where they're using large motors, and those motors will create a spike on the grid. And so it creates a demand cost. And we can put in a battery bank, and that battery bank will be the shock absorber on the grid system.
Yeah, this makes a lot. I heard a pitch on a generator. It was like a type. I forgot what he was creating these generators out of, but the lease purchase on these things was so extravagant that it just didn't make any sense. I mean, why would you pay more than you're paying now? But
Right.
This does make a lot more sense. What is your primary areas? Where's the concentration of your highest revenue areas geographically in the U.S.?
For the PPA, the power purchase agreements, we're focusing on Iowa. We haven't had the saturation. Minnesota has had a pretty good saturation. East Coast, West Coast has had a pretty good saturation of the power purchase agreements. So we focus on markets where there has been a lot of competition. There's companies like Sunrun and Solar City and so forth that are in the outlying states, but they haven't been looking at Iowa. We have a low cost of power in Iowa, so it's not extremely attractive for them to come in because we're sitting about 14, 15 cents a kilowatt, and they focus on markets where they're 20, 25 cents a kilowatt, and where there's high cost of energy.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you talk about competition. How does that competition affect you right now? I guess it would just be going into the institutions and are you fighting against them? Like, do they go into those same institutions that you do?
No, we're not seeing competition. We're seeing that there's a lot more demand. And so the primary use of funds is to open up more cash.
Okay. Sorry about that.
The same thing happened to me too. So yeah, no, but essentially what we're wanting to do is set up more cash registers in order to be able to process more opportunities. So the college has been taking 2 years. We got a town of marathon we've been working on for 3 years. There's just a lot of intricacies that goes through a project development. So, but when it does turn, it turns very nicely. We have 3 different areas of revenue opportunity per PPA. We're going to have revenue off of our development fees. So there's a little cash influx. We cover all of our expenses. We have an increase from the development fee. We'll have revenue off of the installation of the project. And then, of course, the revenue off of the cell level electricity. So there's 3 revenue points per opportunity.
This current raise, the private placement that you're looking for right now, do you feel that, after you raise this $500,000, you're going to have to go after additional monies?
No, we've had some conversations with equity companies to be able to come in with the project financing. So, and with the large college, the $8 million project, they'll have a nice influx of capital from that opportunity. Will I say that there'll never be an additional increase? I've been in the industry for a long time. I've seen other companies go through different fruitions. 2 of the most successful ones will use local partners. And so when we'll go into a community, we'll partner with that community because now we have, money begets money. If you go in and you bring in the money into the opportunity within the community, it takes less risk off us. It gives the partners from the community an opportunity to participate. That was one of the hardest things to be able to tell some of the farmers and some of the other participants in a wind farm is that they would ask, "Oh, how do we invest in this? This is a great idea," and we're like, "Sorry, it's not an opportunity that we can bring you in on, because the companies we worked for was either East Coast, West Coast, and it was kind of locked out. We want to have our local partners. They invest in the opportunity with us. We provide the expertise, we provide some of the seed capital, and then they'll bring on some of the additional sponsorship capital."
Yeah, that's great. So I would imagine you're connected with some lease finance companies, like partnered with for the equipment. And it seems very interesting. I'd like to even, Iowa's not too far from me, but I'm in Nashville. But I'd like to see some of the projects that you're doing. And it's very, very interesting. Definitely renewable energy and green and sustainable is kind of, I used to breathe and eat that for about 7 years, and I still believe in it. I think leases make a lot of sense. As you mentioned, my wife, her car is a lease car, and we just, pay a little bit more, but not worry about anything. And I think people are getting more comfortable with the monthly payment of, most of the cell phones, if you think about it these days, are more costly than your car payment. So, but so anyways, for me it is, because we've got like 6 of them. So, but I'd like to see if you've got I would imagine you have a business plan and strategy, and I'm really interested in learning more. And so if you could send me, I'm sure Diane or Danny can connect us via email, and if you could send that over to me, or I could give it to you right now.
Well, I'm on the Jim Paar website, the jimpar.com website.
I've got parmediagroup.com. Just send the email to jim@parmediagroup.com. It'd be perfect.
Okay. And as I was doing my research on you as well, I think we can have a lot of synergies. I was looking at your marketing. Marketing is one of the things that we wanted to be able to invest a little bit more into, get out there into the marketplace a lot more. So I was looking at your client base with Par Media. And so there's a lot of things, and it was exciting. I was excited. I did see that you had the clean, the National Clean Green Tour.
Yeah.
So you're very familiar with what's going on. I also see all that you're in Nashville. Nashville is working on legislation all over the place. Nashville, Tennessee is typically in coal country.
Right.
A lot of entertainers and so forth are coming from California to Nashville, and they're demanding, the customers demanding renewable energy, that we have to do something different. And I'm preaching to the choir when I'm talking about that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm from California, born and raised, but Minnesota a little bit. My relationship with a lot of these companies, I've got a great relationship with them. And NASCAR, just to give you a little idea, NASCAR Green, they pushed and tried planting trees and different things like that. But they did take some initiative to add ethanol, and I was big into the ethanol thing. Right. But any way that people can, help this, the environment is so crucial in this day and age for our upcoming generations. And but a lot of people are moving to LED lighting and everything else. Everybody wants to save. And of course, the LED companies are capitalizing on commercials. So that's where it's really at. And in GM, I work with a lot of dealerships. GM has implemented a strategy that all dealerships have to go to LED lighting. And that was last year that they required that. So, but from a renewable standpoint, that's great for renewable energy because it takes less strain on that to create that energy to keep those lights going. But let's keep this conversation going, and I'd like to look at a little bit more.
Sounds good.
And it seems right up my alley, definitely.
Good. Yeah, I felt the same way. I was doing a lot of my research. We connected on Facebook. I've been praying that I would get surrounded. A lot of the investors that I have are godly men that, so I saw a lot of that messaging on your Facebook. I also saw that you believed in renewables. I saw that you understood marketing and the implementation. And so there's a lot of synergies I saw. I was pretty excited about being able to connect with you and be able to talk to you.
Yeah, it's funny. I heard you, the pitch with Kevin Harrington, and it really sparked interest. But I was thinking, man, I don't know if I completely understand deregulation and stuff. But I went on your website yesterday and really dug into it. And you have a great website with the definitions and everything else on there, and really explains it thoroughly. And it gave me some comfort to hop on with you and really dive into this. So are you located in Iowa, or where are you located?
Correct. Yep. Storm Lake was about 4 hours away from Minneapolis. So
yep, I know Storm Lake. Yep. Definitely the corn fritters are one of my favorites when I go up there. So, but yeah, they get some definitely some good food in there. So,
and I'm right in the middle of wind country. So between the maintenances, we also have cash sales. Some of our customers will just write a check, kind of like a car dealer. You can either get a lease or you can buy the truck outright. We'll do the same thing. So, but yeah, it's a great country for where we're working. The Midwest is a little bit slower to adapt compared to the East Coast and the West Coast. I have friends on the East Coast that finance projects, and everyone's sold on the East Coast and the West Coast because they're seeing the water rise. Miami, in the afternoon when the tide comes up into the streets, Miami, and so it's very real. 353 tornadoes this year, but I'll talk to that about the environmental impacts of this thing. But I mean, there's other green impact, and that's the checkbook, and when the utilities are increasing their rates. I told you about the one that's 17%. We have another one that's at 10%. And you take that over the longevity of the project. We're saving the college $9 million with our project over on the life of the project. 20 years, we're going to save them $9 million, and then it costs them nothing to install it. They're able to sell it to their students. Their students are demanding. When they're spending $5,000 a year to go to college, and you're looking at which college to go to, and you're not green, and you're not sustainable, you're not doing something about the environment, they're going to pick another college that is if they're going to spend the $45,000. So,
right.
We pitched a nursing home yesterday. That's the same thing. Their residents are asking them, why aren't we doing something solar? We got all these flat roofs. And so the nursing is doing the same thing. The customers are demanding something different. We can't burn it for the rest of our lives. We got the sun that comes down every single day. We got the wind that blows. Right. We have options.
Yep. Yeah, if you have flat areas, I heard a deal with roadways. They were going to try to convert those into solar, and it was a pretty interesting project. But yeah, let's keep this conversation going, and I look forward to connecting with you in the very near future. And let's. I know I'll have some questions that come up after I read that, but. It sounds interesting, and let's keep this going.
Sounds good. Yeah, Nashville's a 12-hour drive or a 1-hour flight, so we can very quickly hop on and fly down and see Nashville.
That sounds great.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it. Thank you all that were watching today.